What's up, fam? We are live, and the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Come talk with us.
Uncle Sweeps, Nick Delgazzo, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnone. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Agree to Disagree. I'm Greg Milakvik. That's Uncle Sweeps. That's the boss man, Tom Arnone. Tom's a little sick today, so he's just going to be in the background for a little bit. On tap tonight, we're going to the Super Bowl, baby. We're going to the Super Bowl after an absolute dominating performance against the Commanders. That was cute. Thanks for showing up. Later in the show, we'll get to our Crumb of the Week. We'll preview the Super Bowl. Matchup now is obviously going to be Eagles versus Chiefs in a rematch. We'll give out our players of the game. And, of course, main topic at hand is going to break down and look back at what an absolutely dominating performance from this offense, from the defense, from the whole team, and especially one Saquon Barkley. Before we get into it, though, I want to mention that we are brought to you every Sunday night by our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. You can find him there on the web. 2 locations, Cherry Hill and Burlington. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Our poll question for tonight: Saquon Barkley is the best free agent signing ever. Do you agree or disagree? Chime in. Find us live in sports.
Yeah, I mean, they got to finish the job, but it could be. I mean, it could be in football probably. I don't. Definitely, probably in football. I'd have to go through everything. Yeah, but
off the top of your head, right? Off the top of your head.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's so fresh. I mean,
yeah. And I'm not saying agree or disagree off of that, right?
It's not even comparable. In recent years, you know what I mean? But like I said, you have to finish it. You got to finish it because then it looks, man, I know. And somebody just said Shohei, so and the Dodgers did win the World Series, so that's why I'm saying you got to finish. That's why I'm saying you got to finish it. You know what I mean? The Eagles have been good for a long time, and they'll continue to be good. It's just it's just a recipe, but you have to you got to finish probably to probably get that, to be at the top of that. So there's some unfinished business. We'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. I certainly expect them to finish the job. But yeah, in football, yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with your assessment of that you got to finish. But I also think you look at the record-breaking year as well. Right, over 2,000 yards rushing. And I know Shohei did, 50-50, right? So he done something no one's ever done as well, right?
Decent.
So that's pretty decent, yeah. I think I'm with you. I agree on football. Definitely from the Eagles, from Philadelphia standpoint, right? From the, inside or inner circle, inner little bubble, absolutely agree. I mean, the year he had, and even think about it, he had 12 touchdowns lost from the 1 yard line. So you even add 6 of those to his already monster year. It's even crazier. I mean, the impact that he has had on this team and this offense it obviously goes beyond numbers, right? The numbers jump out at you. The numbers are posterized, right? They're insane. But the impact that he has just in the entire team, in the locker room, you hear his his demeanor and his mindset, I think it's just absolutely changed it. And of course, it helps when you're an absolute freak of nature. You know what I mean? When you're a freak of nature athletically, all that adds up to being who he is. And I can't imagine anybody that's a Giants fan that's sleeping well right now and hasn't been sleeping well all year. So, yeah, I'll agree to the poll.
Yeah, they were just banking that he was, knock on wood, that he was going to get dinged up or something. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all they could have been banking on. I'm not saying they were out there with a voodoo doll. I'm sure they were, but that's all they were banking on. Like, because that was the first response that you got from most of the crumbs. Like, yeah, good luck with that. He's always hurt. Not always, and but when he's on the field, you could, I think a 9-year-old could tell you how special he was. Behind that horrendous organization.
Yeah.
In that horrendous dumpster fire that's down the turnpike. That's how good he was in that setting. So you can only imagine how good he was going to be here. I'm not saying anybody, like I said, 2K, I don't, we threw out those numbers or anything like that, but, you expected him to be special here, but maybe not this special. You know what I mean? Because it's like I said, every play is a home run. Every play could be a home run. You know what I mean? And like, sometimes, people will argue and say, well, there's a lot of guys in the league that are capable of that. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jamar Gibbs is very explosive too, but every time he touches it, he don't go for 70.
Yeah.
I mean, every time the guy touches it, he, like, I think there was another prop today. It was like 50 plus rush, and it was plus 600. I hope Vegas got killed. I can't believe it was that high. My buddy said it was plus 600. I said, you're having, I would have went double fisted. Call me up. I would have double fisted on that. He's good for 60 every game. He might not, and it's usually to the house, but I mean, he's good for a good 60 burger every time. So, like I said, I just think, that's just my opinion. That's no knock on him or the Eagles or anything. There's 2 weeks to go. There's some unfinished business, but very well, if they finish the job, he's probably got to rank in the top 3. Definitely in football, but in the top 3, because I believe Maddox was a free agent, so they won one World Series. I think, right? I don't think it was a trade. It might have been.
You're right
I
there.
thought it was a free agent. So, the rest is history there. We know what Craig did as a Brave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's pretty good.
They stumbled. They underachieved big time, in the ultimate goal. But, he did his job and got at least one World Series, so, and I think the same thing goes for, Harper, that's, the same thing, if Harp, the Phillies can ever finish the job, then Harp becomes, gets in those.
Yeah, for sure.
He gets in that kind of discussion too. So
him and Andrew Bynum, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't speak for hockey,
Flyers didn't, at least in the city, haven't done very much.
Yeah, I don't know nationally, like if there was a monster. I try to think about, that. Won a Stanley Cup and all that good stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I forget if Gretzky was a free agent when he joined. LA.
I think he was. Yeah, I think he followed the money. Yeah.
He was.
I don't think he had the balls to trade him. It would have been obviously a 10-for-1, but I think it was just the Kings flashed the money at him, and and I think they offered him part of the franchise.
Yeah, probably.
I really believe that was.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like again, I don't know ever. Right? I don't know if he's the best free agent signing ever, but in Philly, I'll say he is. Yeah. Right? To stay local, because of like what Sweep said too. I mean, it's the explosive plays. Yeah. It's his fingerprints all over games. Like we're not on this run. I mean, we're still a really good football team, but you take away these explosive doesn't mean we're not scoring on these drives without him. I'm not saying that, right? But you're taking away explosive plays, game in, game out in the playoffs too.
Yeah,
and the deeper you get in the playoffs, I mean, teams are trying to stop that immediately. And on the first play from scrimmage today,
that was beautiful.
You're going 60 after they drive it down your throats
with right? What, 2 or 3 missed tackles, legit missed tackles, not like just diving guys.
He's special. He's special, and he's definitely helped a culture that was a little bit on the fritz at the end of last year too.
Yeah, it was,
and coming into this year, and I think they needed some leaders. So that wasn't also just a great signing because of the special player you were getting. The other part of that signing is to come in here and get yourself right, get yourself a veteran and a special player who's a leader. And I think when you're able to do that, and he's a great player, you sort of get the best of both worlds. So I'll agree too. I mean, but I'm agreeing locally. I'm not. I'm not agreeing worldwide here because I mean I don't know. We can start talking.
Well, here's
soccer.
another one. Prime.
we can start talking soccer, like soccer, right? Like, oh, you remember this guy? Like people can start coming in and talk like, oh, remember this free agent in soccer? We have no idea about. So
No.
yeah, Prime was supposed to come here, so he could have been the best free agent signing,
Yeah.
we ever had, because ESPN said that night. I remember I was in Seattle. No, Eagles signed Deion Sanders. Like, oh,
it was the last time the Cowboys were relevant, and I think he might have got one. Did he get one with the Niners too? So I mean,
he did.
So
He jumped around.
that's what I was alluding to. Like wasn't taking a shot at anybody. You got to win in order to get up there. Anybody has to win to be the best at something. You know what I mean?
Early line. I think we talked about this last week, but early line Chiefs -1.5, 49.5.
No idea what they're doing, but that's fine. You know what I mean? It's all good.
I'll take it. We love the underdog. We love the underdog side anyway.
Of course, absolutely.
We're gonna be America's team, right? Nobody wants to see the Chiefs win again.
Yeah, I
nobody.
actually wanted the Chiefs to win because I knew everybody would be rooting for us in a weird way.
Yeah.
And honestly, I felt like if we played the Bills, we would lose that game because the Bills never won one.
Yeah.
Right. And they haven't won one. So they're almost in where we're at, where they need one. Right. It's been a while. It's been a long time. So that would be
and you guys, and like I said, you guys are normal. You know what I mean? So it's actually perfect for the tinfoil guys. You know what I mean? Which I get it, but it's now you can get the revenge game, and then you get the old, well, if we don't, it's the refs or it's Goodell. So you got that built in where you went ahead with the Bills.
Yeah, I just want the Chiefs. I think we can beat them.
Katie,
and I'd rather slay a dragon too. It's even better.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if I want to slay Josh. I like Josh too much. I want the Bills to almost win. I don't want the Bills to win over us, but their fan base and them sort of deserving one. Like I rally around that,
be on the doorstep a lot of times.
Yeah, I rally around that kind of stuff. Of course, right? So I almost rather would see the Chiefs or like when we beat the Patriots. Like I'd rather beat somebody like that. It even feels better than beating like a Rex Grossman Chicago Bears team. Some of the teams. You get it.
Andrew Hansen says by the end of his time in Philly, the Giants letting Saquon will rival the Red Sox selling Babe Ruth to the Yankees. Eagles Red Sox fan from Connecticut here. Well, thanks, Andrew. Appreciate you chiming in. And yeah, that's a good comparison there, especially if he does seal the deal, right? If we do slay the Giant next or 2 weeks.
Yeah, and the Giants don't win again for another 100 years.
Yeah. Somebody get back to us on that.
James Jackson, one of our subscribers or members, they really paid Daniel Jones. Yep.
Sure as hell did.
Thanks, Poof. Appreciate it, brother.
What's up, Poof?
Cotton ball. Jalen Hurts really played like a top 5 quarterback today. Yeah, he was awesome today. He was awesome today. It didn't help. It didn't hurt that we were able to impose our will from literally the first snap, right? And I think you almost look back. I don't know about you guys, but I look back, and I think we kind of all said it in our group chat. I look back at that first drive with Washington, and that was the game right there.
Yeah,
right? To me, you sit there and
you're playing with house money, Dan. I don't know what
you go for every fourth down that entire drive, and then you decide to kick the field goal.
Yeah,
it's different if you got down there without going for 2 or 3 fourth downs.
Yep.
Right? If you just got down there normally and then you just stalled in the red zone, like the Eagles force a lot of teams to do, that 3 points is different. But the way that you started that game and you went for 2 or 3 fourth downs, and they weren't just like Eagles push fourth downs, right? They were some 4th and 2, 4th and 3, right? They were some lengthy, sometimes fourth downs. And then at the moment that you decided to shrivel up and be Dan Quinn, that to me was the ball game, and it was early on.
Absolutely, buddy. We always talk about it. There's always 1 or 2 plays, especially early on. Like people, I guess, novice fans might not see it, or they don't want to believe it. But it's a tone setter. Now, if they score a touchdown, is the game over? No. But you're sitting like, how do you game plan this week? How do you after a monster win last Saturday night, right? You shocked the world. Good for you, right? Going into and then Monday comes and you wake up and you're like, oh my God, We got to go to Philly. Cheese and crackers. This is fun. This
Yeah.
is like, this is like fighting Mike Tyson. All right. So this is fun. You know what I mean? So we got to go into Philly and try to do it again. Right. And what's the only way to do it is to win a 45-42 game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We ain't stopping the Eagles. How did you
Field
think
goals ain't going to cut it.
How do you think you were going to hold the Eagles? All right. So,
Yeah.
like I said, again, even if you punch one in there at 7-0, the game's not over. But you just told your team, we just had a 19-play, 20-play, 21-play drive.
Something no team has done unto us all year.
And we scored a touchdown. Well, all of a sudden, the Birds were like, whoa, what just happened? You know what I mean? When you give up a field goal, obviously the Eagles hung 55. So they were surely not done. All right. Nobody knew at the time. They knew they were going to score 35 or 36 or something like that. But a 50 burger is unbelievable. But yeah, it's definitely a tone setter. And kudos to the Eagles defense again. Bend don't break. Even though we really, it's really glaring on Dan Quinn's end for his decision. I don't know if they get it if they go for there, but you might. I don't know what you thought you were going to do. They
had nothing to lose.
Yeah, they got
they
have the 18 play drive. Then they pull out.
You got the biggest house money game of all time. You're not expected to be there. You're not even supposed to be a playoff team.
Yep.
It's the biggest house money game of all time if you're Dan Quinn and the Washington Commanders. That's what it is. Like, nobody's expecting you to win this game. You're a 6-point dog in a title game, right? So nobody's giving you really a chance. And you're probably 2 years ahead of schedule, essentially, to be in title games, right? Or at least a year ahead of schedule for most schedules, okay? At least a year, minimum. And so you're just house money. It's a house money game. You went and slayed a dragon in Detroit. So what do you got to lose? So, like, if I'm him and thinking that, like, I'm not going to go for the 3 after all that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna go for the kill shot. Like, if I got a 4th and 8 on the 40 and I want to kick it, go ahead, get your 3, right?
Yeah.
The 35, 30,
yeah,
sure.
That's why
I'm saying. It doesn't make sense.
The second one I had no problem with. You know what I mean? Some of my buddies were like, dude, another field goal. I said, it was 4th and 10. What do you want? I mean,
yeah.
You can't be totally reckless there. But that was the same drive that they had a fake punt. You know what I mean? So
right.
They had some things rolling, but a 4th and 10, yeah, that's fine. But after all that, you have that monster drive. You pull out a fake punt, and they only get 6 points to show for it.
Yeah.
That's demoralizing from.
No, it really was.
Drew,
and then
you're not shadow banned, Drew.
Yeah, Drew, we see you, brother.
I haven't seen other comments, but I've seen this one.
I don't know what that
Derek
means.
Walters.
Good to see you, Drew. I don't know what that means, but
what up, Derek? Let's fucking go.
I'm Derek.
Marshawn, it cannot be Q closer games because of clear incompletion. Oh, it cannot be a question. Yeah. Marshawn's Billy, what up, Bill? What up, boys? What an all-around great game by everybody. Yeah, we got to avenge it. And that was what was amazing about today was for the most part, it was stress-free. Right. Everything that we talked about the week leading up to it, being the better team, being the more dominant team, being the more physical team, came to fruition. Right. Came to fruition. And it was glorious to watch. There were some tense moments in there. But for the most part, it was stress-free for sure.
Yeah, like I said, it was a bye week. I mean, the only thing that you had, the only kind of stress you would even have coming into this week is that Daniels is a stud. That's all they have, right? They can't stop nobody. They can't, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like I said, they got 5 turnovers last week, thanks to Goff, baby hands, handing it to them, right? And a tremendous win. So kudos to them on a tremendous season, right? And nobody's knocking them. They jumped up on the scene a year or two earlier, right? Because of him, right? That's how he's special. You know what I mean? He's going to be a problem for a while.
Yeah.
So that's
looking forward to it.
That's reality.
He's
so
pretty
he's
good.
the guy. So you could have some anxiety because of him, because nothing bothers them, and they put up 23 because of him. But they weren't gonna. I mean, I don't think any of us in our predictions were under 35 from the Eagles standpoint. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine anybody thought like I said, 55. Yeah, that's outrageous, and and 7 rushing touchdowns, and absolute insanity.
Yeah. And
You know,
speaking of that,
unreal.
we were watching the second game. Jose jumps in. Bills were able to run on the Chiefs, and they were right. The Bills were able to run on the Chiefs.
You saw some plays. You saw some plays in that game, right? When you're watching it, like Saquon might take that 50, 60, 70, right? Where they're not going to have the burst, and that's the difference of having a freak, right? That's the whole difference in why the Eagles are awesome, and they're so explosive.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I absolutely.
I'll be in and out. I'll be in and out when I call. in and out. I'm like fucking Cam Dickerson. I'm like Dickerson. I'm like Cam Jurgens and
Landon Dickerson. You might as well. You combine them. There you go. You're both of them.
I'm like a combo. I'm a combo guy. I can
combo
play in
guard.
and out. I can play in and out.
You can play inside. You can play center. We're good.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And I'm sure after we'll probably lose the Super Bowl and I'll be clear as can be. 2 weeks from now doing a show. Clear as can be. When I want to be yelling, screaming because I'm jacked up. I'm jacked up because this is who we thought we were. And the come put 55 just seems sort of surreal too. I know they can't stop anybody. I get it, right? But to even put 55 on somebody is absurd. It's absurd. It didn't feel like that because even Lily came back in the room and she's like, "Wait, they scored 55 points." I'm like, "Yeah, it's out of control now." But that game wasn't. It felt out of control.
It felt out of control.
But then there was times where they just wouldn't go away. He wouldn't go away.
Yep. No, he's good.
He doesn't go away. He doesn't lay down and die. And that's why they'll be around for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was just thinking what Sweeps was saying too. It's like he's going up against all the guys he went up against on defense play here. So it's funny that he's got to deal with those guys for probably a long time in his career vice versa. That whole front of Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, right? All those guys, he's played a lot of football against too in his time.
And Jordan Davis got his hands on a sack today. It was good to see.
I don't know how he didn't break them. And I
know he landed all over.
He's like Gumby, but he just doesn't. He makes them flexible. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see what they do in the draft. Obviously, by getting here, they're picking deep now. So they're going to have to get creative, but in order to create a rivalry here. You know what I mean? Like, for years to come. They got the centerpiece, right? But they're a lot of pieces away on defense from hanging with the Eagles.
Yeah, for sure.
Sandersfield's
good.
He's a cute story. It's a cute story.
He's a rookie as well, so he was a good draft. But you're right. They need Lattimore's washed.
Yeah,
both physically and emotionally.
Yeah, they took a shot, and like I said, give their guy semi credit. He took a shot at at a trade, and the dude was hurt, and he stinks.
Yeah.
Single handedly destroyed one whole drive. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, really did.
One no call, one no PI, no call, and then like 2 other PIs, and then a personal foul.
Yeah. Morris chimes in from X. What up, Morris? He said that they say it's scripted. So Rocky lost the first matchup by a bogus ref decision and beat Apollo in the rematch. I'll take it. Let's go. We'll take it scripted. Bryce isn't there yet, just because. He's probably on the same level as Saquon. He doesn't have an MVP yet, does he? No, he doesn't have a league MVP yet. But if he wins it, he's definitely in the conversation. He's always there. Right, he's going to be in the conversation with that money, but he hasn't done anything historic yet, like Saquon has, crossing over 2,000 yards, and then also now being the league leader in, the league leader in 60-yard runs or more in a season.
Bryce does have an MVP.
Does he have an MVP?
Yeah.
Okay. With the Phillies?
Yeah. Doesn't he?
Well, either way,
we were calling him MVP3 for the whole freaking that whole year.
Yeah, there's no knocking the guy. The guy made it to the World Series.
Yeah, he's there,
and he carried it. He carried it there too.
Absolutely.
So I can't run from the.
No, it was 21. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm wrong.
Yeah, he won it. He
Poster boy's wrong.
Yeah, that's shocking. Like I'm in here, I'm running the guy. I can't even see straight, and I'm running.
And you're going to defend him. You're going to defend him.
Yeah, well, because it's the truth. He's right up there with him. Listen, at the end of the day, we keep it 100 for all of them. And this sport's more than a one-man sport for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And so is baseball too, right? But you got to cut nets down. You need graffiti. You got to do those things for that poll to be agree, right? You got to finish the job. You can't come out and have 25 attempts for 80 yards in a Super Bowl and then us still agree to that poll, right? You know what I mean? Now, then you can, right? But it's about finishing the job. NFC titles are awesome, and I'll never take them for granted because I'll take an NFC title every year. Every year I'll go. If you just say 8 times you're playing in one, can't guarantee you're going to win them all, but you're going to get the opportunity. I'll take it. I'll take the opportunity year in, year out. But at the end of the day, it's about winning the whole damn thing. So
no, you're absolutely right. 100%. Johnson chimes in. They thought they're going to come in here with a rookie and win. The only thing they're beating is the traffic. Absolutely. Yeah, their fake takeover was fun. It was fun in theory. I mean, take over the least Philadelphia restaurant of all time in the Hard Rock. I don't think Philly goes there, but no, it was fun to watch. It was so much fun to watch. It was peaceful. It was stress free, and now we got the Chiefs and Big Red. And yeah, Martian BG possibly coming back. They expect him to be activated tomorrow, and then they'll open his window for coming back. What up, Chucks? He says we're going to New Orleans. Yes, sir.
I'm Chuck.
Let's go, Josh.
Let's go, brother. Oh, let's go.
Yeah, Martian, just like we did today, right? That's going to be one of the keys is if we could continue to force turnovers.
They don't do that either, right?
And they don't.
I mean, they don't turn the football over. That's not their MO, but that's what we do with a high clip. And another thing is, I thought I'm a credit where credit's due guy. I thought Jalen did well today too. I thought he played really well.
I thought he played. So
I have no complaints, no turnovers. Right, it's always fact number one thing we're going to go in any game with a defense like this and a running game is don't turn the football over. So that showed how important that was today because all 3 of their turnovers led to 21 points.
Oh, it was glorious.
There's a difference in the game. Well, it even magnifies more when you're playing against a great team. And the only thing that separated us from winning that whole damn thing the last time we were there was one gigantic turnover. Right. And now I hope that moment's not too big. I hope him playing, not that's why he turned the football over. Right. I'm not saying the moment was too big for him. Right. Because he played great in that game.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to play great in this one, too. He's going to have to be A+ in this. And I think, conditions help for offensive games, too. So when you're looking at this football game, who has the better offense? I think we do. 2 weeks out, I get it, right? 2 weeks out, we do. They're awesome. I don't want to take anything away from them because all they do is fucking win. So I never want to take anything away from a guy from the quarterback position, and all he does is win. But when you talk about explosiveness and you talk about stars all over and the offensive line throughout it, we'll see health reasons with Dickerson maybe or Cam 2 weeks out. I would hope they both be okay. But on paper, we're better. We're better, and you're looking at an indoor game, nice closed environment. That's advantage Eagles. Defensively, they're awesome. I think they're really good, right? And they're not flashy like us, but they get off the field, they make stops. I don't count what happens against Josh Allen and that game because that's what those games are, right? Those games are back and forth no matter what.
Yeah.
But they're awesome.
Eagles are the best team Eagles are the best defense in the league, and they gave up 23 points. So it doesn't matter what that sometimes points are, especially when they're scored, they become jump points. You know what I mean? So, like you said, Allen, that's a good offensive team. So I don't look at anything like that, but I think offensively it's not even close, and they're probably the second best defense in the league behind the Eagles. So I don't care what stats tell me. I'm just telling you, and they're that well coached. Right? So that's the thing. Obviously they're the 2-time champs, and Mahomes, and obviously Kelsey, but Spags, is unbelievable. I mean, it's, like I said, it's gonna be fun to see. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun in 2 weeks. Not only is Super Bowl time, but I just love to see the ins and outs and see, see guys, trying to match wits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even though Kincaid's got to catch that ball, tremendous job by Spags bringing the blitz there. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
I know everybody's calling for it, but it's another thing to call it. It's another thing to get home and a lot of guys are scared to blitz guys, especially mobile guys. If he gets inside, he can pick that up. So that all started. That third down call was their undoing, the Bills. I mean, 10, you run a little bubble screen for 5 yards. I don't know what they were doing there, but anyway, it's there. But
Josh, Saquon's 29 yards away from Terrell Davis's record of most rushing yards in a season, including playoffs. Terrell Davis is 24.76. Saquon's 24.47. So he's 29 yards away.
Yeah, so safe to say, knock on wood, he's together.
Keenan chimes in. Burks filling Nakobe's role really good. Yeah, absolutely. I think Burks has played a lot better, as you naturally would probably, second week from just filling in. But, I mean, he had a huge I think he had a forced fumble or calls a fumble. But I thought he played really well also,
Yeah, sack.
Yeah, sack.
So, and he had a forced fumble. So
he did have. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, second 9 tackles, 5 solo with the sack and the forced fumble. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, he was awesome. I think him playing week 18 him playing in that Giants game, he had like 17 tackles. I know the game didn't mean anything, but it seems like those reps, even though they didn't mean anything at the time, sort of just help a guy make some plays, feel the game speed a little bit. And little did we know that he was going to have to come up in a big spot, let's say 3 weeks in a row now, and have to play. And he's played well. He's honestly has played better than anybody probably thought he was going to play. I mean, when you're talking about a backup forcing a fumble and getting a sack, come on, can I ask for anything more from a guy that's been a special teamer his whole life? And both our linebackers are been lifelong special teamers in their 4th or 5th year, which is pretty crazy. And both those guys have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. So pretty crazy stuff going on around here.
As
good as his defense has been, pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, when that room is special, it's just interchangeable parts. You know what I mean? So it's not, hate to lose guys, and they've been impactful, during the year. But it really is next man up, especially when you got the culture and you got that, the locker room and you got that defensive. The defensive room, especially. So, it's like I said, kudos to the Eagles. The players, coaches, and obviously, what an off season for Howie Roseman. What a year for him. Obviously they got to they got to finish it, but just an unbelievable. Unbelievable few years. I mean,
what a slow burn.
I went locked.
What a slow burn.
They gave him the mop. It went from lock him in the wash closet to dude came out swinging, and it's he hasn't missed. I'm going to tell you that he hasn't missed much. I mean, you can throw Rager in there. Who cares? Because
that's the only miss.
You know what I mean? But you can throw that. You can throw that in there. But from everything else, you can have Justin Jefferson. You probably don't have the rest of these pieces, which makes the team. You know what I mean? And as awesome as Jefferson is, and we've talked about that degree of separation before. 7 degrees of separation. What happens if he did that or that? But everything he touched is turned to gold pretty much the last few years. I mean, you're talking about like I said, from Saquon Barkley, the most obvious one, to Bond could possibly be the defensive player of the year. He brought GJ back, and they draft Cooper DeJean, It's just, and that's just this offseason. You know what I mean? I'm not, we know what Jalen Carter is. And Kobe Dean and Nolan Smith, the whole Georgia, defense. It's just, it really is. It's insane. It really is. Really, really is insane. And that's how you're built for longevity. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's not the first time he's done this, which is crazy, right? I mean, he's had to do this before. Right, when obviously he goes and wins the Super Bowl with Doug, and then has to start over again. But before Doug, right, under Chip, didn't work out. Right, had to redo it again. Got himself put in the closet at that point during the Chip era, and had to come out of the Chip era and learn from it. And it gets to Doug's success, and then has to move on from that. Didn't work. Right, has to make a hard decision, move on from it, go find somebody else, and sort of come back out of the closet again. And not miss, and literally home run after home run after home run. It's truly unbelievable what he's been able to do. There isn't a better GM in sports right now, in my opinion, on what he's been able to do. And when so many guys miss, he hasn't. And like you said, the regular's the only miss per se. And at this point, if anybody's really cares about it, that's on you, right? Because I mean, there was a point we cared about it, but not when you got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, anybody really caring about it shouldn't. You should stop caring right then and there. I mean, you got two young, awesome wide receivers, so you don't really care. And it goes on and on and on from there. And then you talk about the defensive guys like Milton Williams, what a pick, right? Landon Dickerson. People said, "Oh, he's always hurt, and he might be hurt again." But at the end of the day, he's a stud, right? And he's a captain of that team too. That's the other thing. Cam Jurgens, captain. And you're not just talking about really good players. You're talking about captains of their teams and big programs. Devontae Smith, team captain, right? The list goes on. Jalen Hurts, team captain. Most quarterbacks are. Okay, yeah, but team captain. Okay, and you can just go up and down. Jordan Davis, team captain. Nolan Smith was a team captain. I mean, goodness gracious. I'm sure Toledo, Quentin, Q was a team captain. Yep. Toledo would be my guess. So, but not that it always matters like that, but to rebuild a culture, to be able to redo cultures. And then to be able to redo one sort of in a season where you had a shitty one, even though you won a ton of games, but you lost a ton in a row. And then to go out and get a guy like Saquon to help with your culture. And you lose a guy like Jason Kelsey, but you're sort of able to replace it. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable what he's been able to do from a video game perspective. Madden franchise mode. That's what he's doing. Essentially, that's like us in Madden franchise. Like we'll be like NFC title games. We become spoiled now. Like I feel like we belong. We like Jeffrey Lurie said that. Like this is where we're supposed to be. Yeah, it's the truth. Like you think about the Eagles now. You think about NFC title games. You think about a team that every year you're in that conversation usually, right? And that's fun to say that. It's fun to be able to say that, and you try not to take it for granted as a fan. That's the big part of it. I try not to be spoiled by it or take it for granted because it doesn't always happen. So we're in a great period of time, but now you got to go win the damn thing, and that this cements history.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you have a chance with this young football team as we are, right? You really have a chance to go. And in the NFC, I know it's still really good, right? It's still good. A lot of good teams in the NFC too, but you have a chance here. Like we talked about the start of 2022 when you went to a Super Bowl, right? You have a chance to go win maybe one or two, right? And it starts with going and getting one. And this team has been tested. A lot of guys have played in the Super Bowl before, and I think that stuff matters. So let's go.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'll give Jalen his flowers, man. You've been in Super Bowl 2 out of 3 years. If you ain't giving flowers for that, then okay. I'm not telling you he's the best quarterback in the league. I'm not telling you that he does everything at the highest level. I just know we win. We win. That's all. We win as a football team. So guess what? His numbers were good today. And for all the numbers guys, he was good.
Yeah.
So he looked good today.
20 of 28 for 246.
Yeah, like just calm down. He's not perfect. All right. But a lot of guys are perfect. He's sitting home 2 out of the last 3 years. He hasn't. And does he have a better team than a lot of those guys? Absolutely. But we're still not sitting home. So I'll give flowers, man. If you lose games you're supposed to win, I'll run you out of town. But when you win games, supposed to win, that matters too.
And,
I just don't.
and he made every throw he needed to.
Yeah,
You know?
I just don't know why. I just don't know why it's always a constant narrative. Just winning is what it's all about. That's it, man. That's it. You know what I mean?
Pumper. This win might have got Pumper on the other side.
Oh,
Hey!
Give me a pump. Pump me up, Brian.
Let's go, Bri. He said Hurts has one more in him. I love that talk, Bri.
Well, I mean, if you're not on board now,
yeah.
when you're playing, like again, you're playing in a Super Bowl 2 out of 3 years. If you're not on board and like just being like, okay, shit, doesn't have to look perfect, but I'm in. Right? If you're just not thinking that as a fan,
that's what I'm saying. Right? That's my point. My point is like, what are you doing if you're an Eagle fan? Who cares? Right? Who cares? This isn't, you know what I mean? Like I said, both sides, the extremists and then the other side too. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Just that's it, man. Right? The guy wins. That's it. Leave it at that. Right? So, you know, you have to get to the finish line. Yes. Excuse me. Does he have to go? You know, does he have to get through the tape? Yes, he has to get through the tape in order to be talked about. You know, with the immortals. All right, it's early. I'm not talking about being immortal. I'm just saying if you ever want to get there, as a quarterback in the NFL, you have to get through the tape. You know what I mean? Like you can't just get in you can't get in the race. You know, a lot of guys get in the race. You gotta win the race, right? So. But the guys, you know, the guy wins. I don't understand the issue. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a perfect guy for this organization. Period. That's it. Right? So people, you know, like people look at that like that's a shot. Take it any way you want to take it. The guy's perfect for this organization. This is Philadelphia Eagles guy. That's it. He's perfect.
Dead Slayer, thanks for the super chat.
I know.
The Super Bowl was the best player versus the best team.
Well, we've seen that before, maybe.
I don't know. We might be the best player and the best team. We might have that.
Yeah, I might agree with that.
You know,
certainly.
But I appreciate the super chat. Julio chimes in. I like the fact that we got to beat Brady, the GOAT Brady, and now we have a chance to beat the guy who took over Brady as the current day GOAT.
Yeah.
Love that narrative for sure.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier. Like that's what makes it even more special. You're not going and beating like Rex. I mean, I'll take a Super Bowl any way you can get it, but you're not beating a Rex Grossman or Mark Sanchez or you know any guy or Trent Dilfer, even though he won one, right? You're not beating those types of guys. You're. I mean, again, I'll take them any way you can get them because a lot of guys wish they had one, right? A lot of fan bases wish they could get one. So I'll take them versus anybody, but it is a little sweeter if you can go. Thrown what people perceive as greatness, which is greatness. I mean, that's what the Chiefs are. I mean, that's not perception. That's the facts. They are modern day Patriots. They are modern day Brady Patriots. They just win. They don't got to be pretty. And they're all year long. They were not pretty, but they're in close games and they know how to win them. Yeah. And the one thing about us is I think we know how to win too. I mean, the only other quarterback who's won more games than Jalen Hurts is Patrick Mahomes in the last 3 years. That's the facts. So anyone who wins more than him is it. Here we go.
Spells looking forward to a Super Bowl to see first ballot Hall of Fame Eli get announced into the class of 25.
Sure, you're really looking forward to it, Spells. I mean, I might.
I mean, at least he's better than Peyton, but that's fine.
Oh, if I could stop coughing, that'd be great. I can't go on rants. People are asking me to go on rants. I don't have rants in me. I'm trying.
Jose, the Lubu memes are amazing right now. This is why I love the internet and Twitter. It's great.
He's a good player too. He's a really good player.
Yeah, he's a head hunter too.
Yeah, well, I won headhunters on my defense. So
Lattimore was a little crybaby. He got constantly smoked and discipline was awful. Yeah, I mean, we smoked him the last game too.
He's a bitch.
We smoked him the last game.
Nobody fights with Mike. This thing, man. Nobody fights with Mike Evans, but Marshawn Lattimore does.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Evans isn't known to be a problem, but Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, I get that's competition in the division. I get it, but he's just always been a punk. He's been a good player, and when you're a good player, you can be a punk. But when you're not that good anymore, and maybe not be a punk, because Sweeps is right. That whole drive was let me just expose Marshawn Lattimore on a drive.
Yeah,
I feel like
beat him for the deep ball.
Yeah, Howie called down. Like, let me expose this trade. Let's expose this trade, guys, real quick.
Beat him for the deep ball.
Yeah, on 4th and 5 too. I mean, ballsy play call too on 4th and 5. You
Yeah.
know, we talk about Nick. Nick got heat early on this year, and he deserves his flowers, so to speak. Right? No pun intended. He deserves his flowers, but he does because the guy's won a ton of football games. And I don't gotta like some of the antics early on in the year. I don't gotta like him yelling at fans early on in the year, but I sure as hell like winning. Again, you know what I mean? And you can forget some things, not forget, but you can move on from some things. You can let some things go, right? Unless you start losing a ton. When we were losing a ton, the antics and stuff like that, you know, magnified. But I also thought he's calmed his life down a little bit too.
Sure.
From what I've seen. I think he didn't. Can you say mature in season?
Sure.
Or sort of be forced to mature? Either way, I think there's been a little maturity in terms of that. Because I see coaches all over the league. The more I watch for it now, when their teams score, etc., get fired up, right? So I say, okay, all right, maybe that's the way everybody does it now. It's not like, you know, in that 1970 where no coach shows emotion, right? Like, okay, guys show a little bit more emotion on the sidelines now. I get it.
Sure.
So I mean, you know, so maybe he's matured a little bit, and maybe the team's bought into the maturity because listen, you got the best roster in football you want. You still got to go execute and win, and you got to still got guys that buy into that. And create a culture in house, right? And it does start. We always say it starts with up top. So,
Good.
If you get somebody, like I said, if you get fired because we're losing, then you sure as hell should get praised for winning. That's how I look at it.
100%. And it's a lot easier to keep your emotions in check when you're driving the speedboat on the lake, you know, instead of, you know, dodging icebergs. You know what I mean? Like when you start dodging icebergs, you know, iceberg dead ahead. You know, that's when the waters get a little rough. You know, that's when sometimes, you know, guys start to show immaturity or, you know, they show some different character issues. You know, so. You know, but you're right, 1,000% you're right. You know what I mean? And 15-1 will do that to you out of your last 16, I believe.
Yeah.
I think they were 2-2.
Pretty good run.
They were 2-2, and they got to be what 17-3 now.
Yeah.
So you know,
That's our thanks again for super chat. He's 26 in this D will be the difference this time, specifically the second and third levels. This run game with Jalen and Saquon to going to have to limit KC's possessions. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a factor. Johnny Malmos, we will go into the Super Bowl with our coaches intact, not having a defensive quarter, have a brain fart like 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, I think that's another huge part of this, you know, coaching carousel too, is both of our guys are back next year. And I think it's going to be huge for Jalen, right? Finally having another year with Kellen. And I think it's going to be, obviously, we know what Vic's going to do with that defense. Keenan Dickerson pushing Juergens away to play one more snap machine. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I think we all knew coming out of halftime he probably wasn't playing again. Yeah, Cotton Ball, we mentioned that. Brandon Graham most likely, or at least going to start practicing. We'll see if he's a full go. Drew, I love putting belt to ass to Washington. Born in South Jersey, grew up in Maryland, Virginia. They were talking so much. Go ahead to shut them up. Yeah, I mean they really turned into this a scumbag fan base real fast. You know what I mean? It's like it's like Detroit. Sorry, Don, but like you're the doormat for so many years, and then the first time you're good, it's just like, hey, look at us, we're still here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember the first hit I touched. You know what I mean? I told everybody, I yelled it from the mountaintop. You know what I mean? So I hear you. So I guess I could see it, but it's annoying to everybody that was, you know, that's around you. But
yeah,
you know, I understand the initial excitement. And then you get over
Umberto, I don't think we're going to use a spy. I think we're going to probably play very similar to what we've done all year and then today, right? Jalen is just as mobile as Pat. So I don't think we're necessarily gonna full-time spy him. Johnny chimes in with a super chat. Thanks, Johnny. He said, what up, gents? I love this team. This is a bunch of ball hawks punching the ball or putting a helmet on a shoulder, even special teams turnovers. Those, I think, are the ones that are just as I mean, those are the ones that hurt the most almost, right? You know what I mean?
Well,
the special teams ones.
They make up for Jake, too.
Yeah, they do.
I mean? They make up for Jake's struggles in terms of that unit as a whole, because that unit because of those special teams plays that we've had have been awesome, right? I mean, that usually gets a guy, that guy puts together a special teams unit like that another year in a row. He might be up for head coaching jobs, right?
For sure.
It's like Matt Harbaugh, right? You put up 2 years like that, you might be up for a job. So, I mean, listen, every unit, but you're right about those guys. I mean, we know Vic wasn't going anywhere,
right?
But in terms of Kellen, I mean, that's big. That's big win or loss, right? Because to know you have that kind of, the chemistry of another year of Jalen having a guy is definitely important, But at this point in your career, it's not the end all be all either. Like, when you play in the NFL this long, you should learn systems pretty quick.
Yeah,
but
it
still does matter a little bit.
No, absolutely. You always want to be comfortable in anything you do. You know what I mean? But when you're, when you are slightly, weapon university, it's a lot easier to get by, to get over that, I should say, like, oh, I lost my coordinator. Okay. So I got to go back to the drawing board and, read a book and look behind me. And 26 is pretty good. And 11 is pretty decent. And 6 is all right. And
so for sure.
Makes life easier. Again, people think that's a shot, but it's not. We got a lot of good players on this team.
Yeah, for sure. Josh, I hope they keep the tradition live. Go mess with Rocky. We'll see how that plays out. Crumb 856. I wish some of the Eagles' good fortune rubs off on the Sixers. Probably not this year, but we can hope. We can hope. Speaking of the Sixers, Joshua Harris going back down to DC with an L in his pocket. That's always good.
Absolutely.
All right, you know what else is crazy? That Wentz is on that team too.
Yep.
Like we cannot allow. I know he's not playing, but we still cannot allow him to get a ring before we do. Even though we got one from him, but we can't let him get one. Like a little,
for sure,
could be a little Jalen revenge. Like I don't know. Yeah, a little bit of a reach. But.
If you're stoked that the Eagles are heading to the Super Bowl and we're going to beat the Chiefs, go ahead and slam that like button for us. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe, whatever platform you're on. We got 95 people watching on YouTube. We only got 46 likes. That's bogus. Let's go. We deserve more than that. We're bringing it to you after the Eagles game, and we're going to be here every day, every week. Every week we're here. So go ahead and hit that like, hit that subscribe. Pound it for us. You love us. Grump, I don't think we hate Wentz. We just don't want to see him get another ring. I don't think anybody on here hates Wentz. That's for sure. Sportsman in Philly, Sue on Sky Sports couldn't fathom the 2 decisions that cost Buffalo their first down drive with a few minutes left. Refs a bit dodgy, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, it was close. I think obviously they didn't think on replay that he got it over the line. It was close. Who am I, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was a first down, but still.
I thought it was too, but it was close.
Again, not the only plays that won the game.
Right.
But I still thought he got it. I didn't think he got it initially, but then when I saw the over the top,
I don't know where the ball is, and I'm a monster. I'm a monster Allen guy, so that's my only thing. You got 2 different guys somewhere else. He did go back. He did go backwards and surged. But I don't know where the football is. It's one of those things that's impossible.
It's tough to tell.
It's impossible. There should be like a buzzer. A buzzer should go off. If you get over the line, a buzzer should light up the stadium, and a buzzer should go off. Right? That's what I would invent that. So anybody, all the geniuses out there, that's what you need to come up with. I know that the yellow line is imaginary, and we can only see it from home. But there should be a buzzer. That's it. You get to the line, it buzzes. There's too much traffic.
They do it in soccer, so it can be done.
Yeah, there's too much traffic in there. You can't stay. You know what I mean? So, I knew they weren't going to overturn that. I thought the interception was I thought the interception / reception turned out to be a completion. I thought that was bogus before the half.
Yeah.
That ball, it didn't move, but the ball touched the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know. They
and did he really have clear control?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? If both guys are still fighting on it, did he have control?
So
Yeah, they're gonna get
And I know there was a holding call on there, right? But it's
Yeah.
a lot easier first and goal from the 8 than it is first and 10 from the 20.
absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Joey D. Tom's like, Tom Gina.
everybody just leave me the
Can
hell
hear,
alone.
can't see me.
Just leave me alone.
Johnny, the bird's eye view of Broad Street was crazy. Absolutely. That was nuts.
What do you say? They probably gathered at a Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah, I mean they're used to winning, so it's probably a casual night for them.
Yeah, just we're here all the time. They need to feed Cook more. Yeah, Cook was very effective.
Yeah, but kept chance to win that game on a broken play.
Yeah.
Broken play.
It's
Right,
up there,
and-
Sean. I mean, he's definitely probably up there.
They catch up all on that last play.
Yeah, you have to. Absolutely.
So you're going to need plays like that, though. The beat teams like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, it's just normal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to need a little crazy to happen.
For sure.
You don't win. You don't win in somebody else's building without a little crazy. So, I feel bad for Bills fans because they just keep knocking on heaven's door and they just won't let them in.
Yeah.
And it's sort of insane. Like, are you guys ever going to get over the hump? Like, how much more can you take it?
Yeah.
How much more can you take? What's that? 5 times? You've been eliminated in the playoffs by the Kansas City Chiefs?
4.
Something like
4?
that.
Was it 4?
4.
Okay, I wasn't sure if today was 4 or if we're going on or if today was 5. But either way, 4 or 5.
He's 7-6, 0-4 against the Chiefs.
Yeah, in the postseason, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So they have that, and it's like the Bills of the '90s, 4 straight Super Bowl losses.
Yep.
And it's like hard to do. Same thing, losing the same team that you do beat in the regular season, which is crazy.
How bonkers is that, dude?
It's not like they own you all the time. Like you can make the case you own them in the regular season. They own you in the playoffs
For sure.
So
Yeah,
it's
no,
weird. And every game comes down to a last possession. So it's not like no game is a blowout in the postseason. Has there been a blowout in the postseason? I don't think there has.
Between them?
Yeah, there hasn't been, right?
No, it's
No.
like 20 seconds. What was that? 13 seconds. Last year, Josh missed the guy in the end zone, and then the Bask missed the field goal. And then obviously today. So yeah, I don't they've been all good games. What I was saying bonkers about was that the Redskins have 10 turnovers against the Eagles in 3 games and 10 against the rest of the league in 17 games. My God. That's insane.
Hunting for that ball. KZ, I will be there at the parade. Yeah, I'll be there. Probably not the. I don't know about the other guys. I won't speak for them. I would think though.
I will not.
Gonna be there. Umberto, I agree. I do agree with you.
Yeah,
The parade.
I'll be at the parade.
Yeah.
You don't take. I don't take parades for granted.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll get somewhere.
Yeah, I might not be downtown again like I was the first one.
Yeah,
outside like the art museum. I might not be down there, but I will definitely be there.
I might just be out front of my house watching it on TV too, but I'll be in some type of parade. Might be a school line.
Fire engines coming down.
Might be a school pickup line, but I'll be at some type of parade.
Yeah, Umberto, this defense is not even close to the same defense in 2022. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, that was a year that their offense was which is good this year too, but they were really, really good that year. And then, they made enough plays and they went on a run, got themselves in the Super Bowl. That was but this defense is not even close to that one. So to answer your question, yes, they are well more equipped, and I don't think the Chiefs are as scary probably when they were even back then. You know what I mean? But you respect them; they're a 2-time champ. All right, Mahomes is a winner, just as as obviously Hurts wins, but Pat's been able to win the big one. So that's what the guy does. So he's going to make he'll scare you if the game's tied, or they're down by 3 and it's late. Not a guy you feel comfortable with the ball in your hand, in his hands, and you feel like it's not going to go well. All right. But when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, same thing was said with Brady. You know what I mean? Like as soon as Brady touched that ball, he said, here it goes. You know what I mean? And it took a play from BG to go down, to go down in history, so
Yeah.
We'll see if there's a guy that's gonna gonna make that mark this year. And there's plenty of candidates that can put their name into that book. Making a play in the Super Bowl, to secure it.
Spells Chiefs -1.5, brother. 49.5 over under. Austin, we need to stop Kelsey, though, because Ertz put on a clinic today. Yeah, Ertz was very effective today. It was a cool moment. I don't know if you guys saw the video circulating after the game under the tunnel. Fletch was in the tunnel as Ertz was walking in, called him over. They embraced, had a moment there. It was pretty cool to see. Obviously, two guys played together for a long time.
Absolutely.
Greg, Nolan Smith's been awesome. I think he set the tone early. And then he made that huge sack that essentially ended the game, right, on that. He made a huge play in the backfield early, and then, yeah, he's been awesome. He's been awesome.
Yep, there's not much you can talk about besides, take the offense out of it, which is, we know what a juggernaut that is. But, defensively, you get 3 sacks, 4 turnovers. Yeah, it's a miserable day at the office.
Yeah. Bill's got a question. What position or areas do you think the Bills are better than us? I'd say only Allen throwing, but we got the better wide receivers, and they could have won that game. I'm surprised KC is favored.
Yeah, especially when the Eagles were out of the 4 teams left. The one that was they were plus 175. So I still think that line's going to move a lot.
It's going to move.
I think once you get word on Dickerson and Juergens, I think it's going to change.
Yeah, it's going to move, but I thought it would have opened up at 3. Eagles 3. That was my guess.
Yeah, I'm surprised by, being dogs, but maybe that's because of the 2 offensive linemen right now. That's just like that's just my early.
I didn't even think about that. That's still potentially up in the air.
Well, I guess it has to matter, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
A little bit. Trenches, but that's just my guess. Or early money is in on what? Chiefs end? Right? I guess I don't even know what it would mean. I don't know what it means.
It just means Vegas looked at it like, hey, listen, to beat the champ, you got to beat the champ. I guess that's what Vegas is thinking. I don't know. No, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like I said, I guessed, before the game was even over. When my dad asked me, what do you think it's going to be? I said, Eagles will be the best team in football. So how can they not be favored? You know what I mean? I thought they'd be, 3 over the Chiefs and probably like 4, 4.5 against the Bills. That was my opinion.
Umberto asks, how big of a concern is Jake Elliott in the Super Bowl? Are you guys worried about that?
Yeah.
I mean, yards or you're not.
Biggest game of the year. And it comes down to a kick, your asshole's puckered up. So, yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely.
I mean, I think the only obviously bonus is it's indoors, right? There's no weather, and I don't know how. I mean, he missed that kick off his foot, right? But I don't know how windy it was up there today. Obviously, Washington's kicker didn't have any issues. Everything was right down the middle. I mean, I also don't think field goals are gonna be enough, right? Kind of the same way Washington was today, right? I don't think you can settle for field goals, and expect potentially to win the game. I think you're going to have to score touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think our defense is way better than what Buffalo has. I think Buffalo has a great coordinator. I think they have some really good pieces, but I don't think cover-wise they can do what we can do.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So that's not a shot at them. So I don't think it's going to be 38-35 like the last time we played them in the Super Bowl. I think this is 31-28. 31-27 in that kind of range.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say we hold. There's guarantee we hold them under 30 because it's Pat, right? But I'm saying to win this game, you got to hold them under 30.
Yeah,
that's a game. That's a game where you got to hold them under 30. Got to. Can't. I don't know if I want to get into that with them because you got to.
Yeah, shootout. Yeah,
you got to go in as you're the best defense in football. You got to slow. You got to slow that shit down, right? You would love to say you want to hold them 21, right. But can I say that about Pat in a big game? No, not until somebody does it, right?
Well, I mean, today was these 21 first half points today was their most they had all season in either half.
Yeah.
So they're not an offensive juggernaut. You know what I mean? He does enough.
They scratched your claw a lot this year.
Yeah, they game plan enough, and he does things with the gadgets and guys, they've been doing it with mirrors. Right? People want to say otherwise, but they've been doing it with mirrors. They hang their hat on defense. Chris Jones is a problem. Karlaftis is a problem, and Spags is a problem. That's it. You know what I mean? And then they have other pieces that make up that defense. You know what I mean? So, but by no means, besides Mahomes just being Mahomes and having a reputation, you're not scared of that offense.
No. Wacky Lackey, thanks for the super chat. So he's going to be flying up to PA from Orlando. Where are you at, brother? To surprise my dad to watch the Super Bowl with him. So excited to watch another one on Let's Bring It Home for the Birds. Yeah, man. I got to change my flight from Vegas to Philly next weekend or 2 weekends from now. So I'll be flying in as well. That's awesome. I'm also in Orlando, Wacky. Where are we at here? I don't know. Did anyone know what is Fangio's record versus Mahomes? I don't know.
0-1 for sure. They kicked the shit out of the Dolphins last year.
Fangio versus Patrick Mahomes. Can Eagles replicate what Tampa Bay did to KC in the Super Bowl? I'm sure it's going to be a little bit about it. During Fangio's time in Denver, the Chiefs scored an average of 28 points per game. The Broncos struggled to score against the Chiefs. Nice differential of 168 to 74 against 6 games. Why did you make me look this up here, Jose? Mahomes had a 97 passer rating versus Fangio's defense.
You didn't have the pieces.
Yeah, in Denver. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta, it's you can have a bunch. You can have paint. You can have paintbrushes. You know what I mean? But you can't. Not everybody can paint a Picasso. Not everybody can paint a Picasso.
But go look up anybody's record off Mahomes.
Yeah, he's won a lot, right?
Nobody's got a good record against him. You don't win this many Super Bowls and shit, and people have good records against you. You might have a guy here and there that has you, right? But I wouldn't even say enough to have your number when you win that much, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
I can't breathe anymore, so I'm out.
Yeah, you're good. We'll be following you out here soon.
All right. Go Birds.
See you, brother.
Go Birds.
See you, buddy.
Middlebrook. Today was their best game of the season. We hold them to no points on 3 different possessions and we'll win the game. With both teams leaning on the run, there won't be many opportunities. Yeah, I mean, it's probably the game plan they're looking at, right? I mean, I would think, Sweeps, I don't know if you agree, but I would think the Commanders, outside of Mahomes, right? Mahomes is obviously, twofold above Jane Daniels, right? But outside of Mahomes, I think the Commanders' offense is just as quote-unquote scary or potent as the Chiefs' offense. I think your X factor is Mahomes.
Yeah, listen. I mean,
I think you could compare both of them, right?
Like I said, they scored 23 points today. With turning the ball over 3 times.
Yeah.
I hear you. Like I said, the Eagles' defense is awesome, but they're not. Scoring wise, they're not the 2001 Ravens. They're not the 85 Bears.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're a good football team. I mean, they're a good defensive football team. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But they, in the way the game is, in the way the game has evolved and the way the NFL is now, you got to score points, so it's an offensive league, so
yeah.
And the Eagles can do that. So, and I don't think Bill's wrong. The only thing I would, not disagree with Bill. I would say the only thing I would say, Bill, is there could be more opportunities only because of the Eagles and their home run capability. You know what I mean? Because we saw that, like when Saquon takes one, when they go 1 and out.
Yeah, 1 and out.
Because Saquon goes 70. Right now, here comes it, and then there's another opportunity for the offense for the
for sure.
So the defense has to get out there. So that's that was what we were talking about earlier about how another reason why Quinn dropped the ball. You have an 18-play drive and you only come out with a field goal, and then obviously you give up the home run, and that defense is right back out there, and you still can't muster anything. You had to come up with a trick play just to extend that drive.
Keep you in the game, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, Wacky said he's in the Apopka area. He went to Wing Shack for today's game of Places Wild. Yeah, Wacky, I'm in the Belle Isle. I'm right down the street from the Wing Shack. I was there for the.
I was gonna say you've been to the Wing Shack.
Yeah. Wing Shack. I was there for the. It is. It's an Eagles bar right here in the Orlando area. It's a true wild Eagles bar. They played a fight song after every touchdown. I mean, it's wild. They got a dude outside making cheesesteaks. They're not the greatest. They're actually pretty terrible.
Jeez,
but yeah, I was there for Wacky. I was there for the Panthers game this year.
Take a class, pal. Jesus,
I know. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard to be close, right? It's not hard to be close.
Yeah, it's serious.
I hope the food was good today. Last time I was there, food wasn't great. I'm not trying to shit on Wing Shack, but their food wasn't great last time I was there. But it's an awesome place to watch an Eagles game.
Yeah, tough to have that name. How can you mess up Wings? I guess you can.
Yeah. I love Nick Sirianni right now. For a guy I used to criticize so much, I'm starting to like him, and I can't put my finger on it. Well, winning does that, right, Drew? Winning solves that.
Yeah,
solves a lot of issues. But I agree. I think Nick's grown on a lot of the fan base, and again, winning does a lot of that. But to Tommy's point, what he said earlier too, I do think he grew up over the year. I think he matured and found that middle ground of him still being in his mind that reckless maniac that he liked to be, but also not attacking fans and not being, a guy that's going to overreact to every situation.
Yeah.
And he said it's also, and shout out Jordan Davis, underrated hero in this. Haven't seen him look out of breath all year. Yeah, no, I think Jordan, I mean, hell, he had a huge sack, like we said. I don't know how he didn't break him, but yeah, he had a huge sack, and he's been playing awesome. KC said he dumped 100 on the Eagles to win. They better not let me down, or I'm calling rigged. Probably. Yes, Joey. I have no shortage of mellow yellow down here, brother. We are good. I got a Wawa right down the street, and the racetrack to get me bottles, so I'm good. I'm good either way. We're going to have plenty of time to discuss this sweeps, though. But early lean, we don't have to give a score, but early lean. Where are you looking at the Super Bowl? What are you thinking?
Oh, this is birds, and more birds. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's no disrespect. I mean, like I said, to be the champ, you got to be the champ. So two really, really, really good organizations, two really good teams, and obviously well coached. And surrounded by stars, and a lot of studs on both sides of the ball on both teams. So it should be very entertaining. But this Eagles team is a wagon. It's been a wagon since the bye week, and it was tough to stop it. Like I said, their lone blemish, even without their quarterback, was a Washington win at the buzzer. You know what I mean? So a walk off at the buzzer, which was wild. So they've been the best team in football, and I don't care what Vegas does. I mean, obviously, some people do. Of course, we will when it's time.
Yeah.
But as far as just talking about discussing no bias here. Everybody knows I'm not an Eagles fan, but being in this area, watching them, being on the show with you guys, I try to keep it real, and I will, keep you guys grounded if I thought you guys were talking nonsense or anything like that. And that's really hasn't been the case. We just kind of discuss every week and give our recaps of the game and, what we see and what we feel and all that good stuff. So there hasn't been any, so to speak, I've accused Tom of having green goggles on in the past, but that hasn't been the case this year by any means. This has just been factual, and it's came to, and it's been unbelievable to watch. You know what I mean? Like I said, ever since 2-2 at the bye, and then and the Browns were right after, right? That got hairy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So 2-2 at the bye, and then you win a hairy game.
Yeah, you did look good against the Browns.
Awful against the Browns.
Yeah.
And then just went bananas ever since. Guys filling roles, and this defense just becoming the best in the football. And we knew what the offense was on paper, maybe not to record standards, like 2,000 yards and all that stuff, but we knew what they were capable of.
Yeah,
maybe not to this level, but we knew they had an awesome offense. I think the question mark coming in was the defense. New coordinators, and see how that was going to gel. So sometimes it takes 4 or 5 weeks, like it did, and it's been really been unbelievable ever since. I don't think there's a game that you think they're going to lose. Doesn't mean they can't, but like there's just not a game. Like you said, I was obviously busting chops earlier. We talk about Jurgens. You said, "Hey, that's 3 weeks to get ready," and I was like, "Man, the arrogance is off the charts." But it's what it should be. Like especially today. I mean, today was just not going to happen. And like I said, it's sometimes people think it's taking a shot at the team that did what they did, and it's not. It's just the Skins didn't belong here. I mean, they won, and they went into Tampa, and they went into Detroit. So, of course, they did belong here. They took care of business. So, kudos to them. But it's not a team that everybody wanted to see. The Lions Eagles didn't get it. So that's the Lions' fault. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's somebody else's fault, So, and I don't know how that would have went for the Lions. Quite frankly, I don't know how that would have went for the Lions.
Probably pretty much potentially the same, right? They just want to score a little bit more points.
That's what I was saying to you.
Yeah.
They're, I think I said that to you guys earlier, like in the chat, where, Detroit's probably the only team that can match the Eagles offensively. Yeah. Right. But their defense is nowhere near the Eagles, So that's where the difference would have been. Yeah. But that offense is definitely capable. That could have been a 48, 45 NFC title game. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Donnybrook, you know what I mean? No offense. Yeah. Don.
No, I miss Donnie. I haven't seen Donnie in a while. We know why, but we haven't seen Donnie in a while.
Yeah, we love Don.
We're going to get out of here soon, but last time, go ahead and hit that like for us. We got 65 people watching on YouTube. We got 63 likes. Let's get us to 75. Get us to 75 likes before we get out of here. We're going to wrap up here soon, give us some crumbs. But I'm with you, Sweeps. Obviously, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm going to say yes, right? But actually, I can't say that because in 2017, I picked the Patriots, right? Because I hated Doug Peterson that much, and I just thought the GOAT was gonna do GOAT things, right? But I look at this game today as we all watched it and we were looking at it, and that 55 felt easy. You know what I mean? Like it's not like that they piled on, right? It was in the flow of the game. It was what was given to us, right? You give us 3 turnovers on your side of the field, we're going to put up 21 points. Even when you got even our boy Will Shipley breaks a big run late in the game. Right, it wasn't like it wasn't like a college, like Duke playing Sisters Mary's in the pool, and they're still bombing threes. We ran the football 36 times today, and you couldn't stop us, right? You couldn't stop it. You ran the football 36 times. So I'm not saying we're putting up 55 on the Chiefs. I'm just saying like people who are going to downplay putting 55 up on the Commanders, that 55 was relatively easy. And that goes to show how good our team is. And so I'm with you. I think this team is naturally the best team in football. I don't think the Chiefs are as good, obviously, as their record. They've won the games, and you can't take it away. But I think we all have eyeballs, and we all watched that. There's holes there. They're a really good team. You don't want to be close with Patty late in games, right? You don't want that to happen. That's obviously where we want to stay away from. But I think we match up very well with the Chiefs and our strengths versus their versus their strengths, right?
That's what I'm saying. Listen, the Eagles should arrive off the plane in New Orleans with, walking like Conor McGregor. Right? You should walk into the stadium, should walk off to the plane in the Conor McGregor walk. That's what you should do, right? Because it's really not close. Like I said, I don't care, what Vegas did. This is the better football team with the eyeballs. And here's the thing that takes, for all the people that are worried, worried about, I get it, the referees in the NFL and all that good stuff. That only happens in a close game. Right? If you impose your will and you punish them and you beat them up, it doesn't matter. We've seen 55-10 Super Bowls, right? Yeah. So it's not like every Super Bowl's close. You know what I mean? I understand they're the darling. It's a great, that's it. I get it. I get that, and I get it's noisy. I get it. That's it. But it is a good football team, and it's a good organization. Right? And they're coached and they're coached tremendous. But you're the better football team, so this should be, should be a 2-score football game. The Eagles, I think the Eagles win this game by at least 10. You know what I mean?
Okay. I love that. Love hearing that.
And that's kind of the way I look at it. You know what I mean? So, you take away any of those question marks. Like we always talk about. In fighting, in boxing or MMA. Take it out of the judge's hands.
Yeah.
Take it out of the umpire's hands. You know what I mean? Like, so every play that needs to be made, they need to make this time. And they got to keep, even though the Chiefs don't turn it over, they got to create a turnover.
They got to find a way.
They got to find a way. Absolutely. In a big moment too, especially, you know what I mean? Where it can change the game and, especially if you get the ball at half and you get one right before they have, just like they did today. Washington, they had no chance anyway. But when people got a little tight assholes, it was because it was 14-12. It was 14-12, and then they fumble. Then Shipley makes the play on the kickoff. They fumble. Eagles score, and they get the ball after half.
Yeah,
ball game. That's it. I'm gonna take your throat like this. All right, Roadhouse. I'm gonna take your throat, rip it out.
Yep. No, 100%. Yeah, and you obviously you forget kind of how big that moment was, right? You forget how big that moment was.
Absolutely.
Bill says Detroit ran over the Commanders too, but the Super Bowl, I think it will be It will be the difference along with our defense. Running defense wins the postseason. Let's go. Good night. See you, Billy. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Later, Bill. Enjoy it.
Austin, most of these guys on the team want revenge from 2023. Yeah, no, for sure. I don't think it. Yeah. Jose, I assume Kenny's going to be fine with 2 weeks. It's it's a concussion, right? But I assume he's going to be fine. Austin Shipley very well could be next year. I think Kenny's a free agent, might get more money somewhere. With more of an opportunity potentially, but
I was just gonna say, I'm not, who knows? I'm not saying you're wrong, but not you or Austin or anybody. I mean, nice job by Shipley, awesome. Tip your cap to him. But I mean,
he was dynamic in the return game today too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I don't take anything away from him. I just think, like we know that. Obviously, Kenny's not an RB1. We know that. But I think, Kenny runs hard when he gets opportunities. You know what I mean? I think he is who he is.
Kenny's turned from my thought of him, too. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Kenny's a huge part of this team, 100%.
Yeah.
It's funny. Did you see his props were over? It was 7.5?
No.
You know what he ended at?
6.5, probably.
8.
Jeez.
I was sitting there talking about that. I said, because early in the week, I think it was 8.5. And then I think today it came down to 7.5. So depending on when you got it, you either made it by a half or you missed it by a
Yeah.
half. Jacob.
Graham is coming back, but
Graham potentially is going to be back.
Healthy. Yeah, I mean, but if you're saying fully healthy, yeah, you're right. But he should be, they say he's back, so.
And I'm sure we'll get more of an update tomorrow or Tuesday about Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson. Cam looked fine to me once he got out there. I think they're just, potentially they're being extra cautious. So Cam looked fine, and I'm sure it's easier to probably plug Steen in there and say, Steen, stay, right? Stay. You're going to play guard. And then if what happened, right, where we have to potentially make a change at center, you're still staying, right? As opposed to starting like normal with the thought and possibility of, one of those guys not being able to finish and then jump in. I felt like they played the smart way and just saying, hey, you're in the game and just stay there, and then you miss the max to centers. But it definitely didn't hurt going back to your starting center.
Sure.
But I'm sure we'll get an update on those two guys, specifically Landon, who wasn't able to finish. Speaking of Connor, who's doing my walk. Connor, thanks for joining.
The Eagles should.
If I see you're over there on YouTube, if you could give us a like, we would appreciate it.
Appreciate having you. Yeah, Eagles.
Austin said he got it on his 8, so he had it at 7.5. What good hit, Austin? I would have thought that would have screamed higher. And yeah, Greg, Stoutland is an absolute monster with what he does on a weekly and daily basis. I mean, you also remember, he is the, run game coordinator, right? So he's, all the rotations and stuff like that, which is hard to rotate Saquon in and out of the game, but he
don't have to do that. Anytime, like today, he missed a couple plays. And I figured he did. I figured he was taking a shit because I'm like, where is he?
Maybe it was the calf. It was the calf, which I'm sure is going to get worked out. He'll be fine.
Yep. No, absolutely. But I hear you, Greg. I hear you, Greg. Stoutland is, it just speaks volumes to this organization.
Oh yeah.
And just like I said, from top to bottom, not missing up top, and then when you have good coaches and good systems in place, it's unbelievable. You know what I mean? And it's easy to say like, anybody can, not anybody, but anybody was eligible to find rugby guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's rugby guys all over the place, right? And to turn that guy into, to turn Jordan into what he is now. I mean, that was that's just unbelievable. But Kelsey, probably maybe a future Hall of Famer. Kelsey retires and they don't even blink. They don't even blink. All right, and it's absolutely insane. And it starts with Stout, and it's unreal.
SJF said he hit for 1,500 today. Looked at Super Bowl tickets and realized that he covers 110.
Pour it in my hand.
Good hit, though, SJM. Good hit, brother.
Just rip it in half. Pour it in my hand.
Hit the double champion.
This could be him.
Are you fighting in bare knuckle now? I saw you getting someone's face over the weekend. Who was that? Who did he get in the face of? I saw him. Of course he got in the face, right? Jeremy Stevens. Yeah, it would make sense that he would fight Jeremy Stevens, washed up, over in bare knuckle. What was he going to say? I was going to go back to Stoutland, right? Like, not only is he an awesome coach, right, but this organization has a culture where guys don't want to leave. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Stoutland gets calls from everywhere in the offseason, and he doesn't want to leave, right? So, like, this organization has built a culture with everything that it's they feel at home, and they feel like that this is obviously their best chance to win, and I think that speaks volumes too, because he could have gone. I'm sure he could go be an offensive coordinator somewhere. Right, you go be a head coach in college, right? I mean, I'm sure I think Alabama's thrown millions and millions at him over the years, and he just continues to stay. So, I think that speaks volumes too.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, some guys are just, like the roles they're in, and they like what they love what they're doing,
Yeah.
and they're okay with it. Like some of these guys, I think have to, I'm not saying they're it's a completely ego driven, but a lot of these guys want with what comes with being a head coach
Yeah.
is more money. So more money, possible fame, possible stepping stone, whatever, to another job or, so I think a lot of that's where, where that stems from. And then, there's other guys that just enjoy the role they're in and, they don't need the spotlight. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't even, I don't know if we've ever heard from Stoutland, maybe once in his time he's been here. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, like he could easily, stick a microphone in his face, and I'm sure he has.
Sure.
I'm just saying, like, there's assistant coaches that make themselves bigger than the team and bigger than the program, and you see those guys. And there's guys.
We had it here with Jim Schwartz.
Yeah, those guys make it about themselves, and Stout's not like that. So,
no, for sure. Jacob, better field on better defense this time around. Star running back in most teams. Been there. I'm feeling more confident this time around. I absolutely agree with you, brother.
Yeah, you should, Jacob. I mean, they're the better team. So.
SJM said it for that. And Howie, we trust. Yes, we have Rieger, Jay Huff, etc. But Bond to Fangio to Moore to the Georgia reacts 2 years in a row, plus Coop and Quinyanamo. Yeah, no, absolutely. We talked about it earlier, SJM. I know you just joined, but Howie's done a masterful job of kind of rebuilding on the fly multiple different times, and it's
well, yeah, actually,
nice.
Yeah, and you're not wrong about that word. I just like to substitute that word to reload. You know what I mean? How it just reloads. The Eagles don't rebuild.
You're right. It's not even a rebuild.
Don't rebuild. You know what I mean? Like that's and that's where where sometimes people can get spoiled and you know what I mean? Like I said, there was maybe a couple years in there. I'm talking about in the last 25. You know what I mean? I'm talking, back, Big Andy. I mean, they were winning 12 games a year and making NFC Championship games like it was their job. You know what I mean? So, they didn't, get the prize that they coveted. We know that. But, they stayed the course and had some, one or two lean years. All right. But never had this organization having to get blown up or revamped or anything like that. You know what I mean? There's a tweak here, a tweak there, obviously improving the team and sliding in different coordinators and guys leaving for greener pastures and all that stuff. But, whether it's via trade or free agents and obviously especially 1000% the draft, this guy's done an unbelievable job. So kudos to him. That's how that's there's really no other way to put it. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, there's, like I said, everybody deserves their flowers, when a 17-3 season and a Super Bowl appearance. But now it's time to finish. But you don't do that, you don't get there and you don't have this kind of season without from top to bottom.
Sure.
You know what I mean? From
100%.
From the 53rd man, to Lori, this has been, it's probably a little bit of too much of, Big Dom. He probably can use a little bit with, I feel like he's always involved in something, whether he's throwing on a headset or something. But he's not a bad dude. I'm just saying, like, I'm sure people were like, what's going on with this guy? But anyway, all joking aside, from the top to the bottom, it takes a village, like they say about raising a family. It takes a village, man.
For sure.
So,
yeah, Jose, it was nice not to bitch and moan about everyone complaining about Jalen for an hour and a half.
KZ, absolutely.
On that note, Sweeps, let's try and get out of here. What you got, like crumbs?
Yeah. No, mine's and I probably I would have listened to you. It wasn't that I didn't listen to you guys or trust you guys. All those years ago, it was such a dog on the court, and I love how he is on the court, right? But Jimmy Butler is the biggest crumb. And you guys
Welcome to the side, brother. Welcome to the side.
You guys are right. I just can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? And
every team, man.
Time,
every team.
It blows up every team. It's time to move on. So it's Jimmy Butler and then guys like Shaq defending him. And I love Shaq. But I don't need to hear from you, Shaq. I don't care. I know you were a player, dude. I don't need you to defend him. You understand? He makes $50 million a year. Don't tell me that he don't want to be there and he wants to do this, he wants to do that. Bullshit.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing.
The rest of us show up for work. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You show up for work, you do your job, you be professional. All right. You don't just keep blowing up every organization you go to because you're not happy. All right. You want to take your ball and leave. So I understand, like I said, it sounds like a broken record, and I've done a complete 180 because I wanted him here. I loved, when he was here, and I wanted him. And obviously, we know that he sniffed out Ben, and he was right about that, probably before anybody else, because he saw it behind the scenes. But the guy's an absolute disaster, and he's like 35 years old. I don't know what you're not getting
even good anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You're not even good anymore to be demanding trades, and you want more contracts, you want more money. You got plenty of money. Go away. Tired of you, Jimmy.
Yeah, KZ. Obviously, we obviously disagree, but in his prime, he was all right. But
he's a dog on the court, KZ.
He is.
I was his biggest fan here, but it's just enough is enough now. You know what I mean? And I didn't argue with those guys about the behind the scenes stuff. You know what I mean? I overlooked it because of what he did on the court.
Yeah.
And what he can bring, what he can bring to the organization. Yeah, no,
that's a great one. I'm so glad you went there. I'm so glad you're on the team now. Welcome to the good side. My crumb is probably it comes up this time of the year all the time, right? First of all, congrats to Ichiro, CC, and Billy Wagner for reaching the MLB Hall of Fame. But my crumb is the MLB Hall of Fame and the MLB Hall of Fame writers, or the voters, writers, voters. First of all, if you're the one guy that didn't vote for Ichiro or didn't vote for Jeter, just go hand in your slip, hand in your vote. You don't deserve to be voting anymore. If two guys, and I'm not even a Jeter fan, but if two guys are unanimous, those two should be, But it's the politics, it's the gaming that goes on with the voting, right? I think CC Sabathia is a Hall of Fame pitcher, but I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Fame pitcher. I don't think he should have skated in, right? When you have guys like Kurt Schilling that are sitting there out there that are Hall of Fame pitchers. You know what I mean? You got other guys, a bunch of guys that obviously all have the stink of the steroid era all over them that I think should be in. And I understand that that's a dicey topic, right? But I just think there's so much political and politics involved. There's so much look at me involved. There's so much weight that these guys, careers and lives are being held on at a bunch of nerds that are writers.
Yeah, it's like they have they have too much power. So if you're gonna if like I said, and I agree with you, if the steroid era is such a black eye, then I don't care about what the writers say. Then it needs to be wiped out from history. Then,
yes,
I'm just saying if every
if that's the case, then
I don't need their moral compass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, if somebody has a moral compass, and I'm not saying there should be one. You know what I mean? Like everybody was doing it, so I don't give a rat's ass. Right. So I know what Barry Bonds was before. Right, he became immortal, but before he had a hot dog neck, he was still the fucking best player in the game.
He's still one of the best players in the game.
Roger Clemens. Still one of the best pitchers in the game.
Yep.
I struck out 21 guys as a 19-year-old pimple-faced dude. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. Mark McGwire, 49 home runs as a fungo, as a rookie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's got 500-something home runs. Come on, man. Guys like, Sammy Sosa, okay. You know what I mean? Like, did that catapult him? I mean, sure. But like you said, everybody was doing it. I don't need a moral compass from writers, especially. But if, like I said, let's not be hypocritical. If we're going to wipe it out, if they're not going to be in, then just wipe it off, everything off the planet. Then, all right. There's no, everything they did then has to be wiped out. If not, then they belong in the Hall of Fame, which I believe they do.
Yeah.
All right, and like I said, and I agree with you. CC, good pitcher, huge balls. Love the guy. Would give him the ball all the time. All right, but no, not first ballot.
Not
Come on.
first ballot.
Right.
No.
And Andrew Jones is a Hall of Famer.
Andrew Jones is another
you
example.
don't tell me Andrew Jones is a Hall of Famer, you're fucking stupid. You're out of your fucking mind.
Yep.
There was a 10-year period. He was the best center fielder in the game.
Yep.
Best center fielder in the game for a 10-year period in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on.
And I think like a guy like Ryan Howard, I think is Hall of Fame worthy. You know what I mean? I mean, he had a 5-year stretch when he was historic, right? Maybe that 5 needed to be to 7. I get you, right? We could have that argument. But for a guy like that, and like same thing. I mean, I know they're my guys, but I think Jimmy Rollins is more Hall of Fame worthy than Chase Utley is. And I know it's gonna be a hot take, right? But I think if you blind look at Jimmy Rollins' numbers versus all of pretty much a lot of the shortstops that are in the Hall of Fame, they're all going to look the same. They're all going to look the same. If you look at him, his numbers were very comparable to Derek Jeter's, and he was a unanimous, one. I get it. All the championships, 3,000 hits, which Jimmy doesn't have. That's probably the biggest disparity in their numbers.
Yeah.
Right? But to me, Jimmy Rollins was a better player than Derek Jeter. He just wasn't on the Yankees and wasn't Derek Jeter. Right? With all the hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but I'm saying defensively, right?
Yeah,
the different skills that Jimmy had, right?
Yeah, they're two different players. But
yes, two different players. Yes.
You had me, then you just went, then you said
that's fine. I don't like Derek Jeter. That's fine.
I know. Well, you had me until you said he was a better player. I'm with you. Jimmy's numbers are great.
Yep.
Like you said, comparable. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it. This time of the year always rubs me the wrong way because guys that are absolutely surefire Hall of Famers are not in there, and it's a pure political. Like, I even hate the guys that don't use all their 10 votes. Like, what are you voting for 7 guys? You know what I mean? Like, what are we voting for 7 guys? Now, next year's going to be interesting because next year is a chance for a lot of guys potentially that people didn't vote for maybe because of numbers, right? That they could get that jump because next year's class is not very good. Next year's class that's eligible is the Hall of very good, right? Like, I think Cole Hamels is the best name out there. Ryan Braun is there.
Ooh.
Let me see what the class is. 2025.
If Braun would even come close to making it, and all these other guys aren't in, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Braun's juiced out of his mind. Ryan Braun juiced out of his mind.
Where's it at?
Yeah, I'd be curious to see that class. I did see a picture of it, but I didn't pause it. But I did see Hamels at the top of that.
Yeah, I'm saying, and obviously I love Cole, but I don't think he gets in, at least right away. First timers, Cole Hamels, Ryan Braun. Other notable first timers, Shin-Soo Choo, Edwin Encarnacion, Alex Gordon, Matt Kemp, Nick Markakis, Hunter Pence.
I mean, what's CC, a one-time champion? Did CC get 200 wins? He had to have 200 wins. I mean, if you're putting him as unanimous, I mean, you get 3,000 strikeouts. What do you know? I'd have to look again, but
yeah, I got it.
Like I said, there's no disrespect.
251 wins.
Okay, yeah.
He didn't have 3,000 strikeouts. That's right. 3,000 strikeouts.
That's what I figured. Yeah. So, but like to your point, there's you could wait a year. You could have waited a year. You didn't have to. First timer.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain guys that should be first ballots, and then there's that, right? I mean, Cole Hamels, 163 wins, 2,500 strikeouts. Again, really good career.
Yeah.
Right? Really good career. World Series MVP and NLCS World MVP, right? But I don't know it. But here's the interesting one, right? Final year about, again, a name that probably marred and tarnished, Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez is a Hall of Fame hitter.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He might be one of the best right-handed hitters ever.
Yep. Absolutely.
He's in that discussion. I mean, the dude was so good. And again, like Bonds, right? Another guy that didn't necessarily probably need the juice. Right? He was so good anyway. 2027 doesn't get much better. I mean, you got Buster Posey, right? That's probably a lock. John Lester, Jay Bruce, Gardner, Kyle Seager, Zimmerman, both Zimmermans, Ryan and Jordan. And then next year, 2027, Again, final year on the ballot, Andrew Jones.
And like we said, like you hit it on the head, when you started your rant about the popularity contest and who likes who, you know what I mean? And and that's where we got a problem with you being hypocrites. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna, take a stand, then take a stand. Don't be cowards. Don't be pussies. You understand? Big Poppy's all over fucking steroids.
100%.
And I love Big Poppy. What a personality.
Great.
What a postseason. What a player he became. He's all over steroids. Get the hell out of here.
Yep.
And you had no problem putting him in because he's likable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because he's on your Fox broadcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's another one. Barry Larkin. SJM Rollins has very similar stats to Barry Larkin. Yep. And that's not, again, that wasn't a knock on Chase. Right, but I think Rollins is the guy. He's the biggest miss out of those guys right now. I don't think Chase had a good run, but I don't know that Chase there did anything. But he's at a different position, right? Second baseman. There's not that many in there, so he's obviously got a chance to get in, and his numbers are pulling that way. Again, likable guy, right? Likable guy, works for MLB now. So hey, let's go throw you a bone.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely, buddy. All right, play the game hard. I'm not saying Jimmy didn't, but one that had some flair and some style to it, and the other one, air quote, would be hard nosed, blue collar, and that's
yeah.
I mean, especially in this city, So I hear you absolutely.
Yeah, it just bugs me every year this time of the year because of obviously all the bullshit that we just went on about. SJM last one will get writers who are voter out of touch and think they preserving baseball's integrity. These are the same guys. Yeah, 100% SJM. All of a sudden there's a moral compass or a moral clause to everybody's Hall of Fame vote, and that wasn't the case. This isn't the Hall of morally really good players. This is the Hall of Fame. And if there's a story in it, if there's a story involved, then put it on the ballot, right? Or put it on the plaque because the guy should be in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, it started with, like I said, if you're rewriting history, I think he should go all the way back to Joe Jackson. He didn't take a dime.
Yep.
And he played his ass off.
No, we're not even getting to that one, right? Shoeless or Pete, right?
He played his ass off. He didn't take a dime. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He got lumped in and paid the price for it. But
100%.
But I hear you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, everyone, thank you so much for jumping in. Like we talked about. Yeah, I didn't see it, Eddie. I'm sorry.
I didn't see it, Eddie, yet either. But I will.
But it was 5 years, so we knew we had the Mambo up top. And look, just real quick, Super Bowl, Saquon and Cooper's birthday on the Super Bowl. You telling me we're not winning that? You're telling me we're not winning that?
There you go, buddy.
There we go. Eagles demolished the Commanders on our way to the Super Bowl. Chiefs beat the Bills on the way to the Super Bowl. Chiefs versus the Eagles. As we said, Chiefs are -1.5 as of right now. That potentially could change. Thank you, everybody, who chimed in. We love you guys. Pound that like on your way out. Tom Arnone was with us earlier. He's not feeling well, so he had to jump. That's Uncle Sweeps. I'm Greg Milakvic. I'll see you on Wednesday. Uncle Sweeps will be back next week, and we'll be talking more birds. There we go. Thanks, everybody. Love you.
Appreciate you.